And welcome inside the Backstage Pass here for a Tuesday, almost hump day into the weekend. And of course, a great weekend I had this past weekend with Randall King, Josh Ward out at Whitewater Amphitheater in New Braunfels, Texas. Glad to be their guest. And coming up this weekend is the Nature's River Fest in Groves, Texas down here. We're going to go out there and I guess have a little fun with Kevin Fowler and of course, Roger Krager. Enjoy that too. Tickets still available out there for a little small festival. Enjoy that. And of course, thanks to Toir Guitars and Bangtail Whiskey and of course, JK Subaru of Southeast Texas for all they do here for the show. Brandon Morrell, Jeff McMahon back here in the Backstage Pass. Pleased to welcome on a show favorite who was like, I got to get in touch with you. And I looked back and I said, no, I've got to get in touch with you from the great Sunshine State, Florida. Charly Reynolds back on the show. What's going on?
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being here, too. We got a lot of ground to cover and a lot of time to do it here on the program, too. So let's talk about this last year because you guys have been busy. It hadn't stopped in any, I guess, form or fashion. You've been writing songs, putting out some great singles. How did you kind of take this time to remedy kind of everything and kind of move these chess pieces around after all this this madness we went through?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, from March to June, didn't really do much of anything because I know what was going on. And I hate saying that, but I was like so confused. I was living in Florida. When COVID happened, I was supposed to go on a cruise on March 13th, which obviously didn't ever happen. So I just ended up staying home for 3 months. And I had a few co-writes here and there, but I'm not the biggest fan of Zoom. Like doing writes over Zoom seemed to be very hard for me. And being in person is a lot easier writing wise, to pick people's brains, and you can kind of feel the room and feel, I don't know, you can just feel the vibe of the song and everything's going better when you're in person. So did a few of those. And then when I got back up here, I guess writing was all I had to do because there was no live shows going on. So I was just booking writes, as many as I could. I did a few more Zoom writes here and there, but I really was focusing on people that would write in person if possible. So did that. And then in October, it seemed like some live shows started opening up again, which was exciting because that's what I thrive on. I love performing, and that's my favorite thing about living here and doing music as a whole is, the shows and entertaining and having fun on stage. So that was exciting. And since then it's been, the shows. I've been playing like 3 times a week at the Row downtown, which has been great. Just meeting people down there, and there's locals there and, people from out of town. So it's been good, but I'm excited to get stuff picked back up, and just kind of not starting over, but it almost is a little bit. Because I was starting to play a lot at certain places and becoming on a regular rotation. And then when COVID hit, all of that kind of just disappeared. So I've just kind of, had to figure out how to go from that, and kind of pick back up, I guess, from where I left off over a year ago.
Well, but we also, right there, I'm trying to remember the exact timeline for when COVID started, but talk about having some of that momentum. I think you had already started the Wild Horse stuff in Nashville. I think you had already been doing some of that, but we had also, you and I had worked together with doing some stuff with Jim Brown and Billy Dean, who was actually on this show during Country Radio Seminar.
Nice.
And John Schneider from Dukes of Hazzard and all that stuff. We had done all those shows, I think, right up until
it was the last one was about, I think, the middle of February or something. I think was the last one that we got to do. But that was I guess a few months up until that, which was so much fun.
Well, and I don't know, Brand, I don't even remember if I mentioned this to you, Brandon, but because I was playing keys on all those projects, on all those shows, and then Charly came in singing backup stuff, which was killer. But at the same time, I think you opened all of those shows. So I got to play for her stuff too, and great. It's great. I was like, all of a sudden the brakes slammed on and stopped it all. So
for everyone, and it's so weird, because it's strange because all your stuff stops, and then you're like, oh wait, there's nothing. Because I remember I kept thinking, well, what can I be doing right now? Mm-hmm. Nothing, because in March anyways, then I started doing lives on Facebook, like on this Facebook group every single day. But for March and the end of March, I was like, there's literally nothing that I can be doing, and that's driving me nuts. Like, there's no way that I can still be, because everyone just, just didn't know what was happening in the world at all. So it was kind of like there was no way that I could still be working in my head as far as shows. So I was like, it was just really weird. But then I started doing lives on Facebook, and that was good enough for me for a little bit. So that held it together.
Well, but the lives that you do, if anybody if you don't follow her on YouTube, follow her on YouTube. She
Thank you.
I mean before COVID started, you already had a lot of that stuff figured out. You were, you shoot a lot of your own stuff, you edit a lot of your own stuff. I remember when we were at the Billy Dean show, it was like, we were working together on stuff during the show, shooting things. So, you weren't starting from scratch when the COVID thing shut down. You've got a good sense of a lot of that and a large following, I think, on YouTube with all that. So, so you kind of had an edge.
I'm very lucky that I had that ahead, that little knowledge ahead of time. But yeah, I love that creative side of stuff too, editing, doing all that. Because I remember I was having Jeff I was like, wait, can you please just video me as if you're like, my videographer from the side, and like at the videos of the mic and all this stuff. And then I just take it home and edit it, because it's just, easier that way. And Jeff's a friend. So Jeff obviously is great at it, and he's said yes, which was great. And then I just edit my own stuff, but I like doing that, so it's fun for me.
Yeah, when they say valuable commodity, Jeff's right there in front of those words when it comes to because I'll pick up the phone sometimes and like, hey man, can we do this? Is this good? Is it? So yeah, you got to keep good people in your corner, and that's one of the finest guys in Nashville, no doubt about it. Hey, we talked last time about you having this passion, singing before you could talk, when it came to Disney movies, Broadway shows, fascination for that. To kind of tell the audience a little bit, remind them, if they don't already know about that fascination between Disney, Broadway, and singing before you could talk.
Yeah, so when I was little, I always loved singing. Literally, my parents say I could sing before I could talk. I just go off. Okay, that's what they've said. And I always had a tune, carrying a tune when I was younger. And I love Disney movies. Obviously, I always want to be a Disney princess, so I dress up like them and sing their songs and whatever all the time. And I also Broadway music, which is kind of funny. I loved Wicked. Like when I would say I was like 7 and 8 years old. I loved Wicked, Bye Bye Birdie. I know that Hairspray was like my favorite.
Whatever she's saying right now is awesome.
Yeah, she was talking about Wicked and some other cool stuff there, so we had a little freeze there. So hopefully Charlie come back to us here. Like I said, definitely, whatever she's saying. Awesome.
I think she was talking about Bye Bye Birdie there for a minute. It's going to be hard to believe this with all of this, but I played the Elvis character in Bye Bye Birdie. Really? I played Birdie. That was my first role in a high school musical when I was a kid.
That's not surprising. It's not.
I had my hair greased back. I had the gold lame Elvis suit. I was killing it.
Well, we'll get her back here, reconnect to definitely. Hey, this is what opens up for show promos. So let me do that right now here for you too. Again, coming up this weekend, Nature's Riverfest is out this weekend. Roger Krager, Kevin Fowler out there, and we're going to be out there doing some stuff with those guys this weekend. Next weekend, Saliva is going to be in Katy, Texas. Yeah, the fine interview you and I did with Bobby Amaru from Saliva, going to be playing the Wildcatter Saloon in Texas down here in Katy. And then our patio series, summer concert series, starts May 30th out at Irma's Double E Grocery. And we're going to set it up with Morgan Ashley, Texas Country, and a whole slew of great artists out there too. And yeah, man, I'm going to find a way to get to Nashville to see you later this year.
Well, it's a shame that you couldn't have, posted a new video yesterday afternoon. I was wishing, if only you could go to your website and find a web. Did you do any interviews yesterday, Brandon?
I did. Yeah, we did a couple of them. Yeah, you're right. And I need to probably put that out there. Yeah, but to promo that too. The great Billy Gibbons came on with Jeff and I, ZZ Top. So definitely we had Billy come on. So you check that out at the sportsguyspodcast.com. There's Charlie.
I don't know what
back with us here.
We were just talking about, first of all, you kind of cut out. Were you talking about Bye Bye Birdie, the movie?
Yeah.
Bye Bye Birdie. I played Birdie in my first
Conrad
high school
Birdie?
musical. I was Conrad Birdie. I
Oh
know.
my gosh. That's amazing. I can totally see that, Jeff.
Yeah. The hair was much, handled much differently at that time. But
I bet.
yeah.
Oh my
and
gosh.
then you start
and then
you start talking about witches, and then you disappear.
Witches? No, Wicked.
Wicked's about
Musical.
witches.
I guess it does have a witch in it. But anyways.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. I'll pick back where I left off. That was so good.
It's all good. Technology.
Anyways, so I grew up listening to Broadway and stuff like that. And in talent shows and stuff, I sing Don't Rain on My Parade or whatever Broadway songs that I wanted to do. Then I got into pop music. I liked Hilary Duff and Selena Gomez. And then Adele. And then I guess Taylor Swift was the one who really introduced me to country music, which is funny because she's not in it anymore. But she introduced me to it, and I loved Taylor Swift's first album and second album, and I music now still. So she really got me interested in country music, and I'd heard country music my whole life. It's not like I'd never heard it and I didn't like it or something. I'd always liked it, but she was the one that really wanted me to like it. I wanted to because of her. So I started singing her songs, then got into Carrie Underwood, and it all kind of came in from there, I guess. And ever since then, I love country music because it tells a story. It's not, and I like all kinds of music. Don't get me wrong, I do, but country music's different. It tells stories, and it's just so personal. And and it's funny because I talk about the difference between Nashville and Hollywood all the time. And Nashville it's real here. You celebrity or wherever, and you don't bother them because that's their home. You leave them alone. Hollywood, they've got their paparazzi. Nobody leaves them alone. They like it for the most part. A lot of them like that, attention. But here, everybody's I'm here, to do my job, do what I love, and go home. Go to Kroger, go home. That's it's just funny. Everybody's very real here. It seems like, for the most part. I mean, obviously, there's some people that are not that way, but for the most part, it seems like everyone is. And I just really like that community and want to be a part of that community that keeps it real while doing what you love all the time. So
it's a good thing. And the key is, like you said, doing what you love to. And we're going to break down a couple of songs here. I want to talk about definitely Hey Hypocrite is the latest single out there, but half of it came before it. Two fantastic songs. But definitely, hey, it's time for you to shine here and perform one of these great songs here on the Backstage Pass. So it is all yours.
Perfect. Let's hope my Wi-Fi doesn't go out on me. That'd be amazing for it to work for me here. All right. Well, I am going to do half of it first for you. I'll tell you a little backstory on it as well, really quick. So I wrote this song with my best friend, Nicole Croteau. Birthday today, so happy birthday, Nicole. But we wrote this song in August, and it's about, people only see the half of your life that you put out there and that you show. And for me, at the time, I was kind of struggling with pretending everything's okay all the time and that life is great all the time and there's no downsides. And because on social media, you just don't post when you're having a horrible day or crying. You know, people only see your highlights throughout what you post. And so we wrote this song one night at like 1 a.m. because we were talking about it, and it came out like this. So I hope you like it.
Yeah.
Confidence, common sense, a winning smile, a perfect child, knows her mind, takes her time, she's on a mission, she's got it all. But if you ask her what's her secret, she'll tell you time's as good as gold. You only have what you've been given. Before you know it will be old. But I don't have it all together. I never said I did. If you cave under the pressure, you ain't ever gonna live. I don't talk about my problems, but I'm willing to admit you only see what I show. And you ain't seen the half of it. Going over details, walking down the rabbit trails in my mind, I lose control. Yeah, I know I overthink the trouble it brings, so I try to stop it before it starts. But I don't have it all together, and I never said I did. If you cave under the pressure, you ain't ever gonna live. I don't talk about my problems, but I'm willing to admit you only see what I show you. If you ain't seen the half of it. We all know feelings, we all know pain, we all have problems and we all hurt the same. But I don't have it all together, and I never said I did. If you cave under the pressure, you ain't ever gonna live. I don't talk about my problems, but I'm willing to admit you only see what I show you, and you ain't seen the half of it. You ain't seen the half of it. All right, that one's called Half of It there for ya.
If you're looking for one of the most beautiful and playable custom acoustics on the planet, look no further than Ed Rice at Toir Guitars. Ed is a true artist, transforming exotic woods into magnificent, sweet-sounding instruments. Go to toirguitars.us, that's TOIRGUITARS.us, and contact Ed today.
Yeah, I was saying to myself here too, didn't mean to cut you off there. Back here on the backstage back. I can listen to Charly for hours upon hours. That's how good she is, and that's I knew the first.
Oh, thank you.
Came after her. A few emails went back and forth. I said, absolutely, and we go back to a lot of the good music that was there just a few years ago. It's still out there. Love everything. We Need to Talk, which is one of the singles I liked out there. But that song in particular, I'm sure holds a special place with you. Half of it.
It does, yes.
Great performance, beautiful vocals, and yes, the Wi-Fi Jeff did hold up there as best it could right there too here on the show. Yeah, thanks to Toir Guitars Bangtail Whiskey and JK Subaru of Southeast Texas for their tremendous support out there. Don't forget, we're out there at the Riverfest this weekend. Roger Krager and Kevin Fowler on Friday night. Get your tickets there across the platforms, and we'll see you out there on Friday night. So I love that story too, how you left Orlando because you had a great pocket of fans down there when you were in that area too, to move to Nashville, chase your dream. Let me ask you this. What's been the best part about making that move at that point in your life, and what's been the most challenging part since moving to Nashville?
Well, I'd say the most challenging part is beating Jeff. There you go. That's my best thing. But the most challenging part was definitely leaving my family. I have to say, I'm very close to my family, so it was really hard when I first moved here to not be with them all the time. But on the bright side of that, I'm a very independent person, and so I've kind of, I guess you just find out a lot of things about yourself, and so I've really actually enjoyed living by myself and being like an adult. Learning how to become an adult. And in Orlando, there's not a big music scene there. That's the thing. At least when I lived there, there wasn't really a lot of places to play or do anything like that. And so I knew when I moved here that was, going to be the thing that I was doing all the time. That's the reason I moved here. And I'd say that's the best thing about moving here has been meeting other musicians doing the same thing and encouraging each other. And it's really crazy how many people, move here to do the same thing, and how encouraging they are to each other. And it's just really cool. You just meet people who are doing your same thing. And I really love that. And get to see everybody's journeys and stuff like that, and write with, amazing writers, and you get to practice and build up your own skills as well. Like that for me, I was not a writer when I moved here at all, like barely at all. I would write, like I had written my other songs, but that wasn't my main focus, and I didn't really practice it a lot. And since moving here, I write all the time and have people who help me strive to do better and have helped me with that. So that's been really great as well since living here.
Well, you're obviously have a lot of value on collaboration, but do you even, I don't know if you write on your own or if you even have a desire to do that.
Yeah.
Do you? I don't know.
Yeah, I've done it a few times. Usually when I write by myself, I don't get the full song. I get a chorus or a verse and a chorus. And then I'll collaborate with somebody to finish it, because sometimes it's hard for me to finish. I have written one song all by myself, but it's super pop, which is really funny. It is not country at all. It is like Billie Eilish style, which is so weird. But when I was writing it, it just had that vibe. So when I did record it. I'll never probably release it. I just wanted to record it to have me. But when I recorded it, I was like, to Dave, who was producing it, I was like, all right, this is totally different than anything we've ever done, but I need a Billie Eilish type song, because that's what this song needs. That's how I hear it. And so that's the only one that I've written start to finish all by myself, that I can think of right now anyways. But it was just one night, and I was just sitting here. I was like, I'm going to go write a song. So I did, and I really like it, but it's not, my style. I'd never put it out, but I do like it for me to have.
That's fun.
I wanted to ask you too about this, because I know we talked about this pretty much a little bit on the show last time, but kind of reminding the audience a little bit. You actually had a little bit of kind of that cup of coffee experiences, for lack of a better term, in that American Idol competition. Kind of set that up for me and take me back through that, because now this new seasons have come out over the last 3 or 4 years. They've changed so much in watching this reality show, but it's amazing how the great contestants continue to come off of that. And if you're top 10, top 15, you're almost not guaranteed, but you're going to get seen by somebody out there coming off that
For
show. You don't
sure.
necessarily have to win it. What was that experience like, and how far you got? Take me through that a little bit.
Yeah, so I've been auditioning for these shows since I was like 15 years old, except for American Idol, because they ended, before they ended it for like 2 years or however long. And right when I turned old enough, they ended the show. So I was so upset by that, because I'd always wanted to try out for American Idol, because that's always been the main show to me. So I'd done the shows a million times, made it far, didn't, whatever. I've done every round that you can do right before the blind auditions for The Voice, and then American Idol I had only done like once, and I think I made it to a private audition or something, but my nerves always got me in that audition. And this year they reached out to me in June and asked me if I'd like to audition, and I ironically said no, because I was kind of over it with the reality shows, because I'd done it so many times that I was like, you didn't want me last time, why are you gonna want me this time? Like that's kind of how I was thinking, which you should take every single opportunity. So I look back on that and kind of smack myself in the face, because you don't do that. But they reached out to me again in August, and I said yes. It was on Zoom, which was really nice because there were zero nerves just doing it on Zoom. So that was great. And then I flew out to audition for Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, and Lionel Richie, and Lionel Richie in November. And that was so much fun. My mom got to come with me. It was obviously different because of COVID. You couldn't really hang out with other contestants that much. We kind of did, we did while waiting for things, like in the hallways and stuff. That's kind of how we got to know each other. And it was so fun. So we did tapings and stuff. And something that people might not know that's funny, because I didn't even know this till we got there, was I think we were there 5 days, 4 days maybe. You have to wear the same outfit every single day so that it looks like everything was shot in one day, but really it's over the course of 4 days. Wow. And so me and my mom packed so much clothes for this trip. So we had oversized suitcases that were overweight to get on the plane, because we didn't know what to expect, or we just wanted options for whatever we were going to get into. And then we get there and they're like, all right, so you're going to wear the same thing every single day. And we're like, what? So we just packed all this stuff for no reason. It was so ridiculous. So that was very interesting to find out. And I always wondered how they did all of that in one day. And it makes sense. They don't do it over a span of a couple days. So that was all great. And when it came the day of the audition, I really wasn't that nervous up until I started singing in the room. But I was out there, I think I waited 12 hours till I auditioned. I had to be out there at 7:15, and my audition ended up being at 8:30 at night. And throughout the day, and California is so dry, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to lower my songs a key, because I was playing them on the guitar. I was like, I'm going to lower this because my voice, I've been out here for 12 hours, and I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you what was in my head. I've been out here for 12 hours. I've been freezing in the morning and now hot and then freezing again. And I just feel like my voice needs to do a key lower, because I don't think I can really fully, execute how I want it to sound with how I had it. So I lowered the songs and went in there, talked to Luke Bryan and Lionel Richie for 10 minutes. We talked for a very long time. Katy Perry didn't really talk to me. So anyways, they did though. They were super nice. And we talked, and then I started singing, and I sang Bluebird by Miranda Lambert as my first song. I did BS I Need, which was my next single. I did that song, and they had me sing them without the guitar, and then they had me sing Carrie Underwood. And Luke Bryan gave me a yes, and Lionel Richie said no. He said, I'm going to give you a no because I just feel like this isn't for you right now. and that this just doesn't fit your path right now. I just feel like this is not right for you. So that was fun. And then Katy Perry just said, not yet, whatever that means. Cause I'm like, okay, well, I don't know when I'll ever be back, but okay. So it was a really fun experience, the whole thing. And obviously just being in front of them was so surreal and really cool. Like, I feel blessed to even have been there at all. And it was like, it wasn't even real, the whole thing. You know, it was like when you were looking at them, and everybody said this, and I feel like maybe it was because we were waiting for so long that we were all so tired, and we were like, they were like holograms. It was like they weren't even real. You weren't even talking to these real people. But it was fun, and they didn't air my audition, which I'm kind of glad, because my emotions did get the best of me once I walked out that room and saw my mom. I could not hold it together. And I just kept telling them I didn't want to cry on national television, and I didn't really answer any of their questions. So I think I'm an ugly crier, so I definitely did not want that as my national television debut, okay? So I made that known to them. But it was fun, and I really enjoyed meeting the producers and the other contestants who were on it, and it was fun. I would definitely do it again, I think, next season, just for the experience. If it comes out the same way it did this time, it was still another experience that was fun, you know? So. Well,
and there's a lot of people that have done really well that did not win those shows.
Yeah.
You know, probably, I mean, there's, you know, Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood are clearly the exceptions, but there's a lot of people that won that, you know, we don't remember as well as some of the people that lost. So
I agree. Yeah.
So,
for sure.
I know you're gonna play the single here in a little bit, the new single, but I want to ask you about "Hey Hypocrite."
Yeah.
Because the thing that's especially notable about that song, which we've all watched for the last 10 months, you know, the whole Morgan Wallen story, you know, and what all's going with him. And then he was #1, and then another week and another week. And Morgan Wallen just set the record, I think, for weeks at #1 for a country artist. I think he just broke Garth Brooks' record. Well, when "Hey Hypocrite" came out, I was looking at it, and of course, you know, I banged around and played on a few Tim McGraw records here and there, you know, and I saw that Tim on the chart was 36, and then Morgan Wallen, who's like just broke this huge records at 35, and then, you know, Kane Brown's at 34, and then above all of them is Charly Reynolds.
I know, it was so crazy. I was so excited to be next to them. Like, it was so weird seeing my name on like a chart next to them and above them, which was just so cool. You know, it might not have stayed there, you know, for weeks, but it stayed for a little bit. And that was really cool. That was so cool. And for this one, I'm excited. I'm just like, I hope it gets on the charts at all. But I just am wondering, I'm like, oh, if it does, I wonder who will be, you know, in the list around me. Because it's just really cool to see your name next to, you know, A-list artists. It's so, I can't explain it. It's just really cool. I know I keep using that word, but that's like the word that I can best describe the feeling as.
It's a good way to describe it. Let's hear this nice single coming out here too, or this beautiful single, I should say, too, at the same time. Been wanting to hear it all day, and your time to shine here on the show with us again. So take it away.
Yeah. So sorry, I set my capo behind that.
You're all good.
So this song, I wrote it 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago in June, with my friend Brad Hutzel. And when I went into the write, I'd had a horrible morning. Just like, you know, one of those days, everything goes wrong. Like literally, it just seems like one thing after another. And I went in there and I had this idea, and we are both from Orlando, Florida. So we started just talking about New Smyrna Beach, which is our main beach at home. And how in the summer, there's like nowhere to go here. If you don't have a boat, you can't go on the lake, and then there's no beach. So we were just talking about, where do you go on a beautiful day like today, and you just want to, get away. And so that's how we came up with BS I Need. So it's for pre-order now on iTunes and Spotify, Apple Music. But I hope you like it. So it goes like this. It's raining, tops down, I'm praying right now, 'cause God only knows that this ain't nothing new. Well, it stopped raining, now it's hot out, I can tell you right now, without a doubt, you can add it to the list, 'cause this ain't stopping soon. Can't pay rent, lights turned off, ex-boyfriend said we need to talk, well boy, I ain't got nothing to say to you. I got enough BS I've been going through. So I need the beach and the sand, a margarita in my hand, I need a breeze and a tan, maybe a man that understands, I don't need to ride. Headed down south to a little tiki bar where I don't want to be found. Just gotta get out of where I am. To the beach, the sand is all I see, and that's the only BS I Well, it's Monday, I'm working, but one day I'm certain this landlocked 5 o'clock desk job's gonna stop, and I'll be on my way to the beach and the sand, a margarita in my hand, I need a breeze, and a man that understands, I don't need you right now, headed down south to a little tiki bar where I don't wanna be found, just gotta get out of where I am. To the beach, the sand is all I see, and that's the only BS I need. To Palm Coast or maybe the Keys, gonna leave it all behind, till the only thing waiting on me is the beach and the sand, a margarita in my hand, I need a breeze and a tan, maybe a man that understands, I need the beach and the sand, a margarita in my hand, I need a breeze and maybe a man that understands, I don't need you right now, headed down south to a little tiki bar where I don't want to be found, just gotta get out of where I am. Till the beach, the sand is all I see. Ain't nothing gonna ever bother me, and that's the only BS I need. That's the only BS I need. All right. BS I Need.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
And yes, we're going to push that pre-sale, which is available out there. BS I Need.
Yes.
The single release. And go to the website, charlyreynolds.com, and pre-order that now, because I cannot wait till that comes out. Add it to the playlist, and you'll be glad you did. Or get somebody an iTunes gift card. Do it that way, as I always say here on the show, because being an Apple Music subscriber that I am. So it's a good thing out there. Brandon Morrell, Jeff McMahon back here. We got a few more minutes with Charly, thanks to Bangtail Whiskey, Toir Guitars, and, of course, JK Subaru, the official dealership of the Backstage Pass. So I got to ask you about a lot of great success, but I want to throw rapid fire out there because you know you love doing this, and it's always fun to do some new questions for you. All right, so if Charly Reynolds is ordering a pizza and putting her own toppings on there, Jeff and I can't have a slice. What are you ordering?
A gluten-free, extra cheese and pepperoni pizza.
Go ahead and think about it for a little while if you need to.
That's my order every time. Anywhere, every time.
Some great comments coming in. It was great. Don says, love the song charts. Only BS I Need. Johnny, and of course, great song there too. So appreciate the audience today too. Again, pre-sale, charlyreynolds.com for the single release. It's on the website out there, and give her a follow on all the social media too. All right, so you'll love this one too because I pull it out from time to time. The first song you ever performed on stage, what was it?
Ooh.
Or wrote?
It might have been Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson.
Okay. All right.
If I'm right. It depends on if my living room counts as a stage. But if not, then when I was like 7, my talent show would have been either Since You've Been Gone or Naturally by Selena Gomez. One of those.
Let's see if she remembers this one. Let's see if she remembers this. What's your first song to perform with me?
Okay, wait, let me think of which show that was. I think the first show I did with you was in Florida. Right? Jeff don't even know. But I think it was in Florida.
I know.
Well, it depends on if it's one of mine or one of Jim's.
Your first song to perform with me.
Faith Hill, Breathe.
Boom.
That's right. The day I met you, because we were at the sipping something.
Some little fun. It was a little fundraiser at an ice cream parlor.
Yeah.
And we met Charly. We met Charly there. Yeah. And
so
as
funny.
It happened, do what, hon?
I said that's so funny. At first you had me thrown there. You're smart.
I wasn't trying to throw you.
Yeah, you were.
But we had my buddy that I played guitar with when I was out on tour was there, and we were trying to come up with what she would know, and he and I both knew that. So I was like, okay, well, we'll make that happen, and I can carry the rest of the guys through. So yeah, she killed it.
That was one of the first times I even played or sang, and that was when I pretty much first kind of had moved to Nashville. I've been here for a few months, but that was like one of the first times I'd sang anywhere in Nashville. That's so funny.
Yep.
What a memory.
Love that. Always bringing memories back here on the show too, and that's a good thing. All right, favorite show to binge watch. What is it?
Schitt's Creek.
That's a good one.
If you've ever seen it, if you haven't, it's the funniest show ever. I've watched it like 5 times, so great.
See a few episodes out there, and I tell you what, and I can't wait to get up there with Jeff next year to Nashville, do this show on location live somewhere, have you out, come to one of your shows, and support everything you do. You know what? American Idol, nah. She's good on her own out there. It's BS I Need. She's doing her thing and doing it loudly in that great town. Love it. Charly Reynolds here on the show. Hey, Hypocrite is out there in pre-order. BS I Need, which is coming out real soon out there at charlyreynolds.com. Charly, one of our favorites here on the show. Thanks for making time to come back. And there's a parking spot reserved just for you anytime you want to come back and promote anything out there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me back on.
And give her a follow across all the social media and charlyreynolds.com. We're back tomorrow with some more exciting stuff here on the show. If you missed it yesterday, it's still out there. We got to talk to Billy Gibbons, ZZ Top, yesterday on the Backstage Pass. If you want to go listen to that, you can check it out across all the different platforms we're on. Also tonight at 6, The Pitch, Zach Stone and Mike Babbo coming up at you, talking all things baseball for an hour tonight. May 4th, Star Wars Day. Neil McCoy stopping by here on the Backstage Pass to talk about what's been going on in his camp. Thanks to Toir Guitars, Bangtail Whiskey, and JK Subaru. We'll see you tonight at 6 for The Pitch here on the Backstage Pass and the Baseball Podcast. Stay tuned for more.